Hello and welcome to Northeast Live. I am Chipen Khung and I welcome you to another discussion centered around the higher education scenario in Nagaland. Today, my guest and I will be brainstorming over the quality of education being offered in the state, migration of students to other states, unemployment rate, and much more. Today, I have three well-known personalities joining me for discussion. I welcome my guest, Dr. Teisinio Ketichu, very fondly known as Mekhala Mama. She is an assistant professor in Kohima College. Also joining us is Mr. Yanboteng Ezung, a lecturer at Bailey Baptist College, Woka. He is also an assistant professor. And lastly, but not the least, the president of Naga Students Federation, Mr. Metovi Ri. Thank you so much to the three of you. Thank you so much indeed for joining me on this show this afternoon. Now, I want to open this discussion with this statement. There are 5 universities in Nagaland and as many as 50 private colleges that have been issued no objection certificate by the Department of Higher Education. My question is, why do students from Nagaland still migrate to other states for higher education? Is it because our institutions lack quality? Is it because there is no variety in the courses offered? Or is it due to the influence of parents? I'll start with Mr. Yanboteng Ezung, please.
Thank you for the question. This question is pertinent and perennial and is a frequent talk mostly within the circle of academicians. Well, I guess there is only one reason. It's a personal choice. But with caution, this choice is influenced by various factors which may include opting for better educational opportunities, diverse experiences, and career prospects, networking opportunities, facilities, and resources. You see, times have changed. The colonial era is over, and therefore our mindset, our attitude, our educational system too needs to change. The NEP 2020 is not the absolute answer. One size fits all approach cannot be the approach. In most of the cases, modern problems need to be answered with modern solutions, as we all know. The structure of educational system needs to change so that the functionality of the system also change. And that being said, it is to be understood that we cannot totally stop the migration of students going out of the state for higher studies, but at least we can minimize. But how do we do that? Give them quality education. Here, it means research facilities should be provided qualified teachers, upgraded curriculums, checking proxy teachers, accessibility to resources, something like proper classrooms, proper infrastructures, vocational courses, libraries, laboratories, and technologies, financial support in the form of scholarships, grants, without any hardships, career guidance, career counseling, industry connections, holistic development like extracurricular activities, personal development, leadership development, mental and physical health support like counseling services, health facilities, inclusive environment, diversity and inclusion, safety and security, students' engagement, feedback mechanisms, and supportive community, and see the effect. This is what our students need the most as well. And if we do all these things, I believe we will experience a very positive impact, at least minimizing the migration of our students going to other states for higher studies.
Well, that's right. Very well put. Now, my next question is for Dr. Ketichu. My question is there any correlation between higher NAC grading and quality of education? Is there any correlation? Is our education system skill-oriented? Are we market-oriented? Are we market demand-oriented? Dr. Ketichu, what are your observations here?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Right.
The education system, not only in Nagaland, but in India, is currently in the process of a very major overhaul with the implementation of the new NEP. And as you're aware, in Nagaland as well, we're in the second year of implementing the 4-year undergraduate program. So with these changes, definitely we are looking at providing education that is more well-rounded. And even if we have the same kind of syllabus, the same kind of modalities that in common with the rest of the country, we also have to take into account that, we are one of the peripheral areas, we are not rural as such in Kohima, but there are a lot of higher education institutions in rural areas. And definitely we are in sort of the more peripheral areas in the country. And so even if we follow the same system, in terms of resources that are provided for the development of infrastructure, for the upscaling of labor, etc., definitely the big cities will always have, more resources to access to enhance their already advanced educational systems. Yes.
That's right. Now, my counter question to you is, Dr. Ketichu, is our education quality? Is there a gap in the courses that we supply and the courses that the student need? Is there a demand-supply gap?
As of now, the thing is, when you say the education we provide, in higher education, all the institutions are bound by the syllabus. So, I mean, even if individually as educators or even as individual institutions, we may be aspiring to do many out-of-the-box or radical, pedagogical interventions, our hands are tied because we have to, conform to the university. We all have to follow the stipulated syllabus, etc. So we have to, if there is a gap, perhaps the gap is, begins at the level of policy. So with the new NEP, and it's just 1 or 2 years, in process, with the new NEP, perhaps in the coming years, we may find that there is, that gap has been closed. But that gap is actually, sort of the outcome of structural issues and doesn't stem from, any kind of shortcoming or negligence on the part of higher education as a department or on the part of educators.
That's right. That's very well put. Now, that brings me to Mr. Metoviri, the president of Naga Students Federation. Now, my question to you is, Mr. Metoviri, as a student representative, what do our students actually need the most today? What can be done to meet the needs of our students? And does the state's higher education department need to do more than what they are doing now?
Thank you, Mr. Sikovan, for having me. Relating to this, our state, we are fortunate, especially our higher education. We have 17 government colleges at the moment, and we have 50 private colleges, including 9 government polytechnics and 1 university. That is, one is medical college, and the other is SCT, School of Education of Engineering and Technology. When it comes to this, I feel our government, at the end of the day, our government should put more effort when it comes to specially oriented education. I feel our government, today's government, they have put effort, but at the same time, we have so many lacking when it comes to especially our higher education sector, especially lack of support infrastructure. Most of our institutions have been outdated, insufficient of institutions. At the same time, a narrow range of courses and programs when it comes to availability to the students. I'm very sure because of that, most of our students, they prefer to go out of the state. That's how I feel. Yeah.
That's right. Now, before we move on to the other questions that we have today, let's take a very quick break. But please do not go anywhere. Stay with me. We shall be back right now. Welcome back, and thank you for staying on. Now, my question goes to Dr. Ketichu. Now, Dr. Ketichu, many students who pursue courses that are unavailable in our state, when they go out and pursue those courses, and when they finish the courses and return home, their knowledge and experiences go unutilized. How does this very situation impact them? And what do they need to do to be of service to the state? Dr. Ketichu.
I think it boils down to our cultural values. You know, for some reason, we Nagas, we put a lot of emphasis and value in having our youth and our workforce return home. And so on the one hand, there is, you know, our cultural practice of expecting all our Naga youth to come back and find employment only in Nagaland. On the other hand, there is also, you know, just simple a disparity between what kind of occupations are available here and what kind of occupations are available outside in the rest of the world. When I was growing up, you know, something like fashion design was a career that was almost impossible to have in Nagaland, and that has changed, as you can see. But in terms of careers in science and technology, in terms of, you know, careers in, let's say, even, you know, corporate careers, etc., these are still not possible here in Nagaland. So on the one hand, I think it just also has to do with readjusting our mindsets and accepting that perhaps if our youth are interested in these sort of careers, we should encourage them to go out and work. On the other hand, there's also the disparity because there are many wonderful career options here, let's say, you know, focused maybe on things like agriculture, agricultural technology that, you know, our youth are not taking advantage of, perhaps again because of, you know, mindsets, the idea that, you know, different kinds of careers are placed within hierarchies, you know. And of course, there is also our obsession with careers only in the administrative services. So that is just a simple, practical, you know, answer that it's just not possible to absorb so many of our educated Naga youth into the administrative services. So I think some practical adjustments, some cultural adjustments, and also some, you know, adjustments in terms of our expectations.
That's right. That's a very diplomatically, but also very practically put there. Now, if I may come back to you again, Mr. Yanpo Ezong. Mr. Yanpo Ezong, is there any connection? Is there any connection between our education system and the staggering rate of unemployment in our state? What are your observations, Mr. Yanpo Ezong?
Let me put it this way. The employability of a person depends on what he has to offer in the job market. The way our students are equipped by the education system does not meet the demands of the job market at the most. Look at the types of unemployment that we see. It can be frictional, cyclical, structural, seasonal, technological, whatever, you mention it. But our educational system should not be beating around the bush. The rote learning method should be done away with, and it should be replaced by more sensible, critical, practical, analytical, and holistic learning. Not everybody will venture out into the arena of competitive examinations, and entrepreneurship is just not a piece of cake to be taken. Look at the way students, after their graduation, they try to enroll themselves for coaching. Coaching for what? For competitive examination. But what? What has happened to the learning all these years? See, this is simply a skill mismatch. The educational system teaches us one thing, and then the job market demands the other way around. So this is something, the gap, there is a gap. Now, I don't want to say that there is no quality in education. I am not trying to put that kind of statement here, but the way we are being taught, and then the way the job market demands, there's a huge gap. Now, this is why I used to say that the very structure of the education system needs to change. Because by the time a student graduates, he should have the skill to make a decent living. Can our education system do that? we need to be more sincere in our approach and let us be more practical. That's what I want to say.
That's right. Now, Mr. Medoviri, besides imparting textbook knowledge, because what I feel now is our education system is very bookish. So besides the textbook knowledge, what are the other areas that our education system need to focus on so that we can prepare our youths to face global challenges? Mr. Ri.
On this matter, I feel that program that especially focus on the principal skills and vocational training, like a career guidance. Proper career guidance and counseling should be given to the students before, or should be inform our students or help the students to make a decision about the future beforehand. And I feel that when you come to our Naga students, we only try to venture out after our degree, after our graduation. I think so. Proper career guidance should be given, and I hope and feel that as a Nagaland, as in our education systems, we have lack of proper counseling and proper like vocational training, and I hope and pray that our government will focus more on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I could not agree with you more, Mr. Ri. Well, I wish we had more time to brainstorm on more things. However, I regret to say that my time for this show is almost up. But before we call it wraps, any last words from your side? Any recommendation from your side, my dear panelists? 1 minute each. I'll start with Dr. T.
I want to reiterate that as much as we may have our individual desires as to what kind of education we may want, these are policy issues. As higher education institutions in India, we are under the UGC. So what the UGC says, which educational system, which syllabus, which kinds of policies they push, we must conform to that. Otherwise, forget NAC accreditation. If we don't have UGC recognition, we are not a recognized higher educational institution. So changes in syllabus, changes in pedagogical methods, all of that has to come from the UGC, has to come from policies that are approved by the central government, and then only can we implement it. So in essence, I think it's very important. I mean, of course, I'm not saying education here is perfect, but the thing is, we need to understand that, whether at the state level, Department of Higher Education, or as educators, we must conform to what is happening at the national policy level. So with the new FYUGP course, there has been a big paradigm shift in syllabus. We have things like value-added courses, we have skill enhancement courses, we have options for students to obtain a certificate in the first year and drop out. We have in the second year, they get a diploma. In the third year, they get a degree. In the fourth year, they get an honors. So these are options available. And because of these options, we allow our students to pursue other, alternative forms of, training that make them more suitable for the job market. So as far as, the policy is concerned, definitely, I think the government has taken into cognizance the, need of the hour.
That's right.
Need that I think is not only specific to Nagaland, but is also true for many other places in India. So I am very hopeful that, if we are able to implement the FYUGP properly, and if the NEP, the latest NEP is implemented well, we will be able to meet our practical needs.
Exactly.
In a better way in the years to come.
Exactly. We can only hope for the best. Any last words from you, Mr. Yanpo? 60 seconds you have.
As far as the education scenario is concerned, yes, of course, I'm just an educator. Policy making things are not in our hands. But for those who have the authority, who have the chair, I want to say this. As I've said earlier, one size fits all cannot be the approach. We have to also consider what is the context here and the mainstream. So if we take the contextuality of even framing the syllabus, I think that would be of much help for all students.
That's right. That's right. Now, any last words from you, Mr. Medoviri? You have 60 seconds.
At the present, our students need an access to quality education. More institutions offering high quality education, update facilities that provide a conducive learning environment, and programs that focus on particularly skills and vocational training. And I feel that our government should implement a career guidance, support training, counseling, and guidance to help students make informed decision about the future. And we need to have an industrial linkage, strong connection between the educational institutions and the industry to ensure that the education provided is relevant and job-oriented. To transform the educational system, that then can allot more funds even to educational sector for the infrastructure and our institution. And I think we need to revise the curriculum that we include skill-based and market-oriented first. Enhance our teacher training program to improve the quality of education and encourage collaborations between government institutions and private sector to create more educational opportunity. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So I wish to thank three of my guests, my panelists. Thank you so much for joining me live. Thank you so much for joining me on this program today, despite your busy schedules. I wish you all the very best in whatever you do as you embark on this journey to serve the people and especially the students of the state. So thank you so much. So that brings us to the end. This is Chipen Khung signing off. Thank you.